Hello everyone, I hope you don't mind a bit of dramatic intro that I made. It's just that when I think about videos about like comparison, it feels like a battle, like which one's the best, and it's not that something is better than the other, they're just different. And in this case, I'm gonna be comparing the Kuretake transparent watercolors and the Kuretake Gansai TAMBI. Gansai TAMBI is not even like standard watercolors because it's Gansai paint, which is made with different ingredients, which makes it the difference, I guess. Instead, the Kuretake transparent watercolors, they look much more like watercolors, even in the size. They are just like normal half bands. Now, the Gansai TAMBI are big because they are meant to be used for calligraphy brushes, so the bigger pan is because it fits the brush better. The Kuretake transparent watercolors only come in these 14 colors. Instead, Gansai TAMBI comes in I think 36 colors, plus more like pearlescent colors. I've selected the colors that looked more similar to the ones that are in the transparent set to compare them. In the swatches, I'm packing the colors to let you see like them to their fully capacity, and the first impression is that the Gansai TAMBI, I don't know if it's because of their consistency, which is more dense and more viscous. They have more coverage and they are more saturated. These specific colors don't look that opaque. Of course, some colors is more opaque than others. If you pack the transparent watercolors, they become more opaque. The main differences comes when you compare the flow and the layering. So basically the transparent watercolors flow much better because I feel like their consistency is much lighter and more lightweight compared to the Gansai TAMBI. They're more thick paints. They're like literally more thick and more viscous. So of course they don't flow as much as the other one. But you know, flow, it matters until a certain point, depending on what you do with watercolors. When it comes to layering, I might say that the transparent watercolors work better than the Gansai TAMBI. In the last video, when I introduced to you these watercolors, I said that they're very staining, but using them more, I realized that they're not that staining. I feel like it was the paper that I was using that was contributing a lot to making like stick to the paper, but overall I don't think that they are much more staining than normal watercolors. They don't lift as easy as the Gansai TAMBI. They're a completely different thing, and they're not meant for layering. They're meant for like traditional Asian painting techniques. Indeed, it's like much more difficult to layer stuff. But of course, if you know your paint and if you use the right paper, you can work well with them as well. But I feel like the transparent watercolors are more versatile because you can really build up your painting. You can make more like of abstract things because they flow well in water. You can work more slowly. I just wanted to compare these to you because someone that I've never seen this kind of paint might think that it's like the same thing, but it's actually not. I just wanted to compare it to see the difference, the actual difference that there are. And now I'm painting the same illustration with the two different paints. I'm showing you at the same time the process so you can see how differently they perform. I actually, since I knew the characteristics of both paints, I tried to adapt my way of painting to fit the paints. For example, with the transparent watercolors painting, I'm building up the colors slowly because I know I can do it with those paints. So I'm really like adding colors and layering a little bit at the time so that I can work slowly and more precisely. With the Gansai TAMBI, I'm just trying to do less layers as possible because layering with those paints, it's not impossible, but it's difficult. I've used my trusty Winsor Newton paper. It's not cotton, just like cheap paper, but it's really good and it works very well. If paints don't work well on this paper, it means that they are really bad. So to be fair, I use them on good quality paper to show you how they really perform. So with Gansai TAMBI, I'm trying not to layer too much. As you can see, I'm packing the colors like quickly and I'm trying to blend it as soon as possible so that I can get more even washes, because with the Kuretake Gansai TAMBI it's a little bit difficult to do that. For example, if you have a more like abstract, more like spontaneous way of painting, you might like these ones. If you understand how this paint works, you can adapt them to the way you paint. You can make them work very well, but I'm always in the opinion that it's not you that should adapt your way of painting to the paint. It's just like you have to find the paint that adapts the best to your technique. Like it should be like this. But anyway, if you are looking for affordable watercolors, they can both, depending on your technique, satisfy you in different ways. They're not the best watercolors out there, but you can still make a lot of things with them. And if you're a beginner and you don't want to spend too much money, they're nice. If I have to say a verdict and tell you which one I prefer, I definitely prefer the transparent watercolors because of the way I use paint. I layer them a lot, so I definitely find transparent watercolors more comfortable to use compared to the Gansai TAMBI. But I know that there are people that love Gansai TAMBI and they think that their favorite watercolors to use to paint with. And yeah, I hope that this later comparison solved some of your doubts. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment and I will reply to you. I leave you to the rest of the video. Thank you for watching and bye bye.
钱就是钱，哪有那么容易翻身？师傅，等一下，我也要下车。